What's poppin', everybody? I want to take a little bit of time, man, to discuss something that's concerning to me, right? And it's about the Nolan situation. There's a reason why I haven't taken to the internet and I haven't made any content, because there's nothing that I feel like I can provide a value that I can talk about that hasn't already been talked about already. But I want to take and steer the conversation away from Nolan situation, and I want to add that I do believe that something sinister happened. I believe that there's a cover up to some degree, right? If everything that's coming out is accurate, somebody's guilty of something, right? From everything from the deleted messages to, you know, the aggression from the young boys when the father went to retrieve the keys to his son's car, to all of the other cover-ups, man. It screams that something sinister, something shady had taken place. But that's not what I want to discuss this episode. I want to discuss the content that people are putting out about this topic, in which they have no real motivation to create a movement that can leave us all better off. There's no real solutions being driven. It's just all for monetary value. It's all entertainment. Right? When I listen to the dozens and dozens and dozens of content creators, there's no passion behind, you know, putting out accurate information. It's more so to rally up their viewers, and in so many words, mislead a bunch of people that are entrusting them to give accurate information. They're merchants of chaos, man. They're inciting anger and animosity. And if you're not careful, man, you'll find yourself listening to people that their motivation is only to get money, man. Your young mind, or your mind, is being shaped by an opinion that's coming from a person who only looks to keep you on their video as long as they possibly can so that they can make money. So you take that perspective or that belief that you receive from this content creator, and you go and share that belief with your kids or your nephews or your people that you love or people that you just may be conversing with. And you express it as if it's fact. And you don't even know that you've been duped, you've been misled. And I mean, I've listened to a lot of content, man, over the course of the last few days. I mean, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of content creators. And it's sickening, man, to listen to certain people, you know, speak and push out all type of racial rhetoric, so much animosity and so much hatred and nastiness. And they're spilling out nothing but opinions. There's no real fact behind what they're suggesting. And that's why I tell you, man, you got to be real sharp out here, man. You got to be careful, because, you know, the people who you're tuning into, they don't have good intentions. And I'm not one to knock nobody down, and I just want to be able to give people, you know, my honest opinion. And I want to give them at least, you know, the capabilities of being able to discern real information versus entertainment. Because a lot of times, man, it's so good and people are so good at what they do, we can't really differentiate the difference between the two. I said this before in my last episode. I'm going to say it again. It's our duty and our obligation to be the guardians of ourselves. We're looking to be informed as the best to our ability. We're going to keep up to date to what's going on within the case. But I'm telling you, man, most of the content creators that you all are listening to, they have no intention on being honest with you. They want you to be locked in throughout the entirety of their broadcast. And they just want to entertain you. They don't want to inform you. So you got to be careful. Right? My suggestion in this entire case is this, man. We all got life that we have to live outside of these podcast episodes. Why not let the whole process work itself out? Notate whenever you see something that comes out that you disagree with, so that at the end of this case, when it adjourns, you can determine whether or not justice has truly been served. But to engage through the entirety of the investigation, and to allow yourself to go up and down and around when some new detail has been released, it's acting as a distraction, especially if you have young kids that you're responsible to care for, especially if you have a job or you may be behind on bills, especially if you have health goals, especially if you're in a process of transcending where you currently stand. These cases act as distractions. If you aren't yourself trying to contribute to exposing things that may be unjust or gathering information that will allow you to be some sort of benefit later on in the process. These people out here playing a dirty game, and it hurt me to see so many people making content and they think this thing to be a joke. Man, a young man lost his life. And you got a bunch of other young men that can possibly be sent away for all of the days of their life. The conversation should instead be, what is it that's at work that can cause young men that are supposedly from different ethnicities to be this level of vicious towards one another, right? The conversation is being had that we shouldn't let our young so-called African-American sons go on trips with so-called white folks. Now we're talking, man, we've been in this country, man, for hundreds of years together. It's a huge failure that there is no form of unity and love and compassion and sympathy that we share for one another. That should be the conversation, man. That should be the topic. For me to have to look at my 21-year-old and say, son, listen, I know that you have so-called Caucasian friends, but you have to be extremely cautious, which is a conversation that I've had. But I think we really have to be careful, man, when we step outside of, expressing those concerns and deciding to go above that and say, you know what, the whole race of people are evil. That type of stereotype is dangerous, man. And we've seen how those type of prejudices can affect an entire world. Man, the way that we handle this situation is going to be everything. There's so much content on social media right now that's meant to divide, and we're just eating it all up. And it's dangerous, man, and it's easy to allow it to feed us because a lot of it verifies a lot of our current beliefs, because a lot of us have dealt with racism, man. And racism it has a very, very long-lasting impact on a person. But I just want us to be able to step outside of our experiences and look at the totality of a situation. One evil person, or 100 evil people, or 1,000 evil people, 10,000 evil people, 1,000,000 evil people of a race does not justify or verify that an entire race of people, that a whole race of people can't be nothing but evil. So I'm telling y'all, man, be very discerning in the content that y'all take in. I know it's a challenging time for us, but let this be something that we rise through and not to further fall into the abyss. Let this not be something that we look back on and see the missed opportunity. You know what I mean? I feel what y'all feel. I understand what y'all understand, but I'm telling you, man, they playing a wicked game on us. They wouldn't want nothing more than to see us going at each other, hating each other, despising each other, kicking each other when we're down. When you come into this world as a young person, as a kid, as a baby, you don't look across at a person who look different to you and say that person is evil. It isn't until we begin to engage with the culture, society, that we become evil. It's in the society, man. It's in the culture. The culture makes the man or the woman. We have to recall that. We have to remember that. A lot of the things that we've come to believe about each other has been taught to us. That doesn't make it any more legitimate, man. And we have to be able to see that. So, like I said, I'm interested in what y'all got to say about the content creators and the way that these cases, not just this case, but cases like it, are being covered, right? Are you being a guardian when you go out and you take in this content, or are you just eating it all up? Because if you're eating it all up, you have to understand that your beliefs is being shaped. You're being groomed. You're being programmed. Man, you look up 10 years from now, man, and you're somebody that you don't like. So be cautious when you engage with these people, man, because their intentions, again, as I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, is to profit. They want to profit off your chaos, off your anger, and your animosity, and your pain, and your experience. We got to smarten up, man. I'm interested to hear what y'all got to say about this specific topic. I started full. I'm empty for now. I love y'all. I'll catch y'all next time.